Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people live lives filled with joy, energy, and purpose, while others seem trapped in cycles of stress and regret? What if there was a way to unlock the secrets to lifelong vitality, deeper connections, and lasting happiness, right now, no matter your past choices? In today's video, we're diving into powerful insights that will transform your perspective, boost your confidence, and give you actionable tools to thrive in every aspect of life. Stick around until the end, because the final revelations will change the way you approach your future forever. If you love thought-provoking, life-changing content, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us create even more inspiring scripts and keeps you ahead of the curve in your personal growth journey. Aging is a universal journey that every person on this planet must undertake, yet it often comes wrapped in negative perceptions and trepidation. We see it portrayed in countless films, written into numerous novels, and even casually referenced in everyday conversation as an inevitable decline, an unstoppable force that strips away vitality, relevance, and capacity. However, there is another perspective worth considering: the notion that aging can be approached with grace, dignity, and a stoic sense of wisdom. By actively preparing for one's later years, it becomes possible to cultivate a future defined by resilience, purposeful living, and meaningful connections, rather than inevitability and decline. Although many people have concerns about planning for old age, from finances to health issues, the overarching truth is that mindful preparation can empower you to meet life's changes more confidently. In modern society, a significant source of anxiety about aging stems from fear of the unknown. People often worry they do not have the time, resources, or ability to map out a future in which they remain healthy and vibrant. Among the more common apprehensions are, "I don't have time to plan," "It's too late for me to make changes," and "Financial concerns will overwhelm me if I even try." Underpinning these concerns is the lurking dread that bodily and cognitive decline is simply unavoidable, making any kind of planning a futile gesture. Such perspectives, while understandable, frequently lead to inertia, a state in which individuals do not take action until an urgent situation arises. Ironically, it is precisely this inertia that can compound any difficulties one faces as the years progress, making challenges more cumbersome than they might otherwise be. Still, contrary to these fears, there are plenty of reasons to believe in the potential for positive transformation at any stage of life. We can reframe aging as an opportunity for personal growth, intellectual enrichment, spiritual development, and strengthening social bonds. With the right mindset and strategies, aging need not be a period of withdrawal from life's joys, but rather a time of expansion into new realms of understanding and accomplishment. This philosophy aligns well with the principles of Stoicism, an ancient school of thought which stresses self-mastery, resilience, and discerning focus on what lies within one's control. Stoic thinkers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus taught that although we cannot always choose the circumstances of our lives, like the inevitability of aging, we can control the attitude, action, and perspective we bring to each circumstance. Over the next segments, this article will guide you through 15 of the most significant mistakes people make as they move into their later years. It will show how these pitfalls, such as ignoring physical and mental health, letting go of a sense of purpose, and resisting changes in technology, can lead to a diminished quality of life. Rather than allowing yourself to be blindsided by preventable problems, you can take these lessons to heart and begin implementing changes immediately. Remember, it is never too late to refocus your priorities. You can decide at any moment to move toward a life of vitality, connection, and fulfillment, no matter your current age or status. Each of the 15 mistakes will be explored in depth, providing practical methods to address them and examples illustrating both the risks of neglect and the benefits of awareness. Indeed, personal stories and philosophical tidbits will color this exploration, ensuring that each piece of advice resonates on both emotional and intellectual levels. As you read, you might discover a new readiness to adopt a more active role in your own future. Or perhaps you will recall something you have long wanted to do, like take up a musical instrument or start an exercise routine, and feel newly motivated to begin. Keep in mind that the insights offered here draw from both modern evidence-based practices such as regular health screenings and financial planning, and ancient Stoic wisdom. The goal is to blend timeless lessons on fortitude and perspective with practical steps grounded in today's reality. As this first part of the article unfolds, we will examine the initial 5 mistakes in detail. Each will be contextualized not just as a cautionary tale, but also as a rallying cry, a call to take control of your future health, finances, and sense of belonging. Mistakes around physical health, mental well-being, finances, social connections, and the pursuit of purpose are likely familiar to many who have observed older relatives struggle or who have begun feeling the effects of aging themselves. Yet recognizing these mistakes is only the beginning. The true power lies in understanding how to remedy or avoid them, which can dramatically change the course of your later years. By the end of Part 1, you will have a clearer overview of why ignoring certain areas of life, like exercise, diet, psychological health, budgeting, and consistent community engagement, can have serious repercussions. You will also see, however, how small shifts in attitude or daily routines can generate outsized benefits. More importantly, you will learn that while it's tempting to succumb to the cultural narrative that aging equates to inevitable decline, an alternative path exists that centers on wisdom, community, and flourishing. Far from being a period of decline, later life can be the next chapter in a well-lived story, one with more pages left to be written. The first of the 15 deadly mistakes is the habit of neglecting physical health. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to push consistent exercise or balanced nutrition to the bottom of your priority list. This neglect can be especially pronounced as people get older. A common assumption is that slowing down is natural, so why fight it? Yet the body is a remarkably resilient vessel, capable of carrying you through the decades with strength and vitality provided you offer it the attention and care it deserves. A prevalent error among many older adults is accepting any decline in physical capacity as a foregone conclusion, instead of recognizing that targeted action can slow, halt, or even reverse many of the effects of aging. The notion of aging with a strong body goes beyond mere vanity or superficial fitness goals. Rather, it's about maintaining independence, mental clarity, and overall well-being. Medical research consistently shows that individuals who engage in regular exercise enjoy better cardiovascular health, reduced risk of conditions like diabetes and obesity, higher cognitive function, and improved mental health. Consider for a moment a scenario where you want to travel to visit your grandchildren or explore a new hobby that requires physical stamina, such as gardening or dancing. If you have neglected your physical health over the years, these pleasures could be out of reach, overshadowed by fatigue, joint pain, or other chronic issues. A practical strategy to maintain physical health includes a well-rounded exercise regimen that combines aerobic activity, strength training, flexibility, and balance exercises. Start with something as simple as daily walks, as these can gradually be intensified by increasing both the pace and the distance covered. Strength training, whether with bodyweight exercises like squats and push-ups, or the use of resistance bands and light free weights, plays a central role in maintaining muscle mass, bone density, and metabolic efficiency. Flexibility exercises such as yoga or basic stretching help preserve a wide range of motion. Many older adults also benefit from balance-focused routines including Tai Chi, which can prevent falls, a major concern in later life. Nutrition is another cornerstone of physical health, often overlooked or misunderstood. While it might be tempting to rely on convenience foods, ensuring that your diet is rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins goes a long way in supporting longevity and sustained energy. Proper hydration is an equally important piece of this puzzle. Water aids digestion, helps regulate temperature, and transports nutrients throughout the body. Unfortunately, many individuals underestimate how quickly dehydration can contribute to fatigue, confusion, and compromised organ function. Drinking enough water each day is a simple yet powerful step. A personal success story can illustrate how this commitment pays off. Imagine someone who spent their middle years juggling career and family responsibilities, leaving little room for exercise. Approaching retirement, they suddenly found themselves dealing with weight gain and chronic low energy. Deciding to make a proactive change, this individual started with 20-minute walks each day, progressing to half-hour brisk walks, and introducing light resistance training. Over time, they not only lost weight but also experienced surges in energy levels, improved mood, and a sense of renewed self-confidence. This trajectory underscores the idea that it's never too late to embark on a healthier path. Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously stated, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In the context of physical health, this translates into setting a goal, such as stronger muscles or improved stamina, and then systematically engaging in the actions that bring that goal to life. Ultimately, physical neglect is not just about aches, pains, or reduced mobility. It can lead to a cascade of problems: decreased social engagement, lowered mood due to inactivity, and difficulties with tasks that once were second nature, such as climbing stairs or grocery shopping. These, in turn, can reinforce a downward spiral of isolation and further inactivity. Recognizing this dynamic is crucial for taking proactive steps to avoid or break the cycle. By prioritizing exercise and smart nutrition, you don't merely avoid future health costs, you invest in a happier and more fulfilling present, laying the groundwork for a resilient and active future. While physical health forms a fundamental pillar of well-being, mental health stands as its equally important counterpart. Yet this is the second deadly mistake: ignoring mental health or overlooking its significance in achieving a well-rounded and fulfilling later life. The mind, like the body, requires consistent nourishment, exercise, and occasional rest to function at its best. Failing to attend to emotional and psychological well-being can result in heightened stress, strained relationships, and a diminished sense of purpose. Despite the overwhelming evidence that mental health issues can affect anyone, some people may dismiss or downplay their own emotional state, labeling their feelings as just a normal part of aging, or believing that there's nothing to be done about it. A key factor here is the pervasive stigma that still lingers around mental health topics. Many older adults have lived through times when admitting to anxiety, depression, or chronic stress was seen as a sign of weakness. This can lead to self-imposed isolation and an unwillingness to reach out for help. Yet an increasing body of research underscores the importance of mental health in preventing or mitigating cognitive decline, bolstering immune function, and even supporting heart health. Emotional well-being is not a luxury. It is a foundational element that directly influences one's quality of life. One effective route to maintaining good mental health is developing resilience through mindfulness and meditation. Devoting a small fraction of the day, say 10 to 15 minutes, to simple breathing exercises or guided meditations can bring about a marked reduction in stress and anxiety. Furthermore, deliberately focusing on things like gratitude and positive events in your life can rewire cognitive patterns away from pessimism. Engaging in hobbies or activities that provoke calmness and joy, such as painting, gardening, reading, or listening to music, also nurtures mental well-being by offering a constructive outlet for stress and worry. The deliberate choice of pleasurable pursuits counters the notion that there is no room in adulthood or older adulthood for playful or serene moments. In addition to mindfulness and self-care, staying connected with others is integral to maintaining a robust mental state. Social interactions, whether face-to-face or virtual, can alleviate feelings of loneliness and foster a sense of belonging that is essential for emotional resilience. On a practical level, scheduling regular conversations with friends and family can function as an emotional anchor. Some individuals may find profound benefit in group therapy, community groups, or support networks, especially if they share common life experiences like transitioning to retirement or coping with bereavement. Professional counseling or therapy sessions can be invaluable when dealing with deeper issues, providing structured methods for confronting and managing persistent negative thoughts or emotional burdens. A personal anecdote might illustrate the power of paying attention to one's mental state. Consider Sarah, who spent her career in a high-pressure corporate environment. Upon retirement, she lost both the routine that guided her daily life and the professional identity that grounded her self-worth. These changes triggered anxiety and a profound sense of uncertainty about the future. Reluctant at first, Sarah tried a daily meditation routine and joined a support group for retirees to share experiences and coping strategies. Over time, she not only diminished her anxiety, but also discovered a new sense of community. This emotional support enabled her to channel her energy into a mentorship program for young professionals, reinvigorating her sense of usefulness and purpose. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This timeless piece of Stoic wisdom highlights that while you cannot always control the external circumstances of life, you can influence your inner narratives, thoughts, and responses. Ignoring mental health means surrendering this power. Conversely, nurturing the mind ensures that you remain active in shaping your own perspective, well-being, and destiny. Recognizing the importance of mental health is not just about staving off depression or anxiety. It is about embracing a fuller, richer experience of life, no matter how many years you have already lived. The third critical mistake is neglecting financial planning. Money may not buy happiness, but financial stress can certainly undermine it. For many, retirement planning or saving for the later stages of life can appear intimidating or tedious, prompting procrastination. Yet putting off these preparations can lead to significant hardship down the road, from difficulty covering basic living expenses to feeling restricted in your choice of lifestyle or medical care. Sound financial planning effectively grants you freedom, the freedom to make life choices that resonate with your values. Travel if you wish, invest in your interests, or even support loved ones without the burden of constant money anxieties. Financial stability begins with a clear understanding of one's income streams, expenditures, and savings targets. Creating a comprehensive budget is essential, whether you are just beginning your adult life or are already in your 50s, 60s, or beyond. Documenting even minor expenses can reveal potential areas for cost cutting, which can then be redirected into savings or investments. A simple monthly check-in on your budget can help you remain aware of how your money is flowing. While some fear that financial planning is only for those with substantial wealth, the reality is that anyone can benefit from better financial literacy, understanding topics like compound interest, the impact of inflation, and various investment vehicles from index funds to real estate. Saving consistently, even in small amounts, can accumulate into a meaningful cushion over time. Retirement accounts such as 401ks, IRAs, or similar plans, depending on where you live, represent common vehicles for long-term growth. Those who start saving earlier may take advantage of decades of compounded returns. However, Even those who find themselves behind in their 50s or 60s can still make concerted efforts to bolster their financial situation. Options might include picking up part-time work, downsizing to a smaller home, or moving to an area with a lower cost of living. Although these adjustments may appear inconvenient at first, they can spell the difference between constant financial worries and a relatively secure later life. Beyond basic savings, investment strategies can offer pathways to growing your nest egg. Diversification across different asset classes, stocks, bonds, and perhaps a modest portion of alternative investments can help manage risk. For those uneasy about navigating the investment landscape, seeking advice from financial planners or reputable online resources can mitigate uncertainty. It's also vital to consider healthcare expenses, which typically rise with age. Looking into health insurance coverage and long-term care insurance can shield against catastrophic medical bills that could drain resources otherwise earmarked for daily living or leisure. Such considerations can feel daunting, but ignoring them does not negate the risk. It only magnifies the potential consequence. Consider the example of John, who at age 55 realized he had insufficient savings to maintain his current lifestyle into retirement. By restructuring his expenses, canceling unused subscriptions, buying fewer luxury items, and downsizing his vehicle, he freed up extra cash each month to deposit into retirement funds. He also chose to extend his working years by part-time tutoring, which both supplemented his savings and gave him a sense of purpose. This proactive approach allowed John to build a modest yet reliable financial buffer in less than a decade, thus greatly reducing his stress and uncertainty about the future. In keeping with Seneca's remark, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. From a Stoic perspective, financial planning is about ensuring sufficiency rather than chasing boundless wealth. By carefully preparing for your later years, you can avoid placing an outsized focus on money. Instead, you can channel your energy into the activities, relationships, and contributions to society that spark joy and fulfillment. Neglecting financial planning can lead to forced decisions, such as returning to work under undesirable conditions or needing financial assistance from family, which might strain relationships. Therefore, by thinking ahead and making informed choices, you set the foundation for a stable, enriching stage of life. The fourth deadly mistake centers on neglecting social connections. Human beings are inherently social creatures, wired to form bonds, share experiences, and provide mutual support. Nevertheless, as people age, it becomes easier to slip into patterns of isolation, whether due to reduced mobility, retirement transitions, or even the loss of close friends or family members. This neglect of social ties has serious ramifications for both mental and physical well-being. Studies indicate that strong social networks can reduce feelings of loneliness and depression, enhance cognitive function, and even boost cardiovascular health, illustrating that these connections are more than just a source of emotional comfort. They play a tangible role in long-term health outcomes. Social neglect can arise from practical as well as emotional barriers. Some may feel hesitant to use new technologies that facilitate communication, like video calls and social media, or may grapple with limited transport options if they can no longer drive. There are also deeper psychological barriers at play. Fear of rejection, reluctance to step out of one's comfort zone, or the false belief that forging new friendships later in life isn't feasible. Overcoming these hurdles, however, is immensely rewarding. One of the simplest ways to remain socially connected is to schedule regular calls or visits with close friends and relatives, ensuring that days do not blur into weeks without meaningful interaction. Beyond close, knit personal circles, community engagement offers a wealth of opportunity to expand social networks and fulfill a sense of purpose. Joining local clubs or interest groups, whether related to gardening, reading, or volunteer work, can be an easy and structured way to meet like-minded individuals. Even signing up for adult education classes or workshops can offer dual benefits, acquiring new knowledge while forming relationships with people who share similar interests. Some older adults find renewed social energy by volunteering, particularly in settings that value intergenerational connections such as community gardens, libraries, or mentorship programs. These contexts not only stimulate social bonds but also reinforce one's sense of contributing to the greater good, creating a powerful antidote to the sense of invisibility or irrelevance some might feel in later life. A real-life example can be gleaned from Tom, a retiree who found himself increasingly lonely following the death of his spouse. Deciding to join a local community choir, he discovered not only a hidden passion for singing, but also a vibrant group of new friends from diverse age groups. Weekly rehearsals became a highlight in his schedule, while performances offered a thrilling sense of accomplishment. He soon began to see improvements in his mental outlook and even his physical energy, helped along by the act of singing and social engagement. This transformation wouldn't have occurred if he had passively succumbed to feelings of isolation. Epictetus famously quipped, "He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at." While this can be read as encouragement not to take oneself too seriously, it also underscores the value of camaraderie and shared experience, key components of strong social connections. Laughter and shared joy are magnified through communal experiences, and burdens feel lighter when borne together. Conversely, going it alone fosters emotional isolation that can spiral into loneliness, depression, or cynicism. By actively cultivating social ties, even when challenges arise, you can maintain a robust support network that uplifts your emotional health, enriches your daily experiences, and provides a buffer against the hardships that life inevitably presents. Transitioning to the fifth mistake, one finds a phenomenon that catches many individuals off guard: the erosion or complete loss of a sense of purpose. This is especially common following retirement, after children have moved out, or when major life roles shift dramatically. Suddenly, the driving tasks and responsibilities that structured daily life, whether a job, parenting duties, or community obligations, are no longer present in the same form, leaving an unsettling void. Yet purpose is integral to emotional health, motivational drive, and overall satisfaction. It has been linked with better cognitive outcomes and an increased will to stay physically active, as people who understand their why often seek ways to sustain the how. Rediscovering or redefining purpose need not be a daunting task. Many people find renewed meaning through acts of service, such as mentoring students or volunteering with charitable organizations. Others ignite new passions like writing a book, taking up painting, or learning a musical instrument. The process can start with introspection, identifying personal values, beliefs, and passions, and then connecting these to actionable endeavors. Setting clear, meaningful goals, whether big or small, is also an effective way to channel motivation. For example, you might aim to raise funds for a cause dear to your heart, decide to create an online platform for sharing knowledge, or commit to helping a neighbor with weekly chores. Mentorship is a potent avenue for cultivating purpose because it allows you to draw upon years of life experience in order to guide someone else's path. Think about the satisfaction derived from seeing a protege grow, whether in a professional setting or a more casual environment. A retiree accountant might volunteer to help a community nonprofit balance its books, or a former teacher could tutor children who struggle with reading. This sense of purposeful contribution can breathe new life into daily routines that might otherwise feel aimless. For Maria, a retired accountant, volunteering at a local charitable organization that required her specific skill set gave her a fresh reason to wake up each morning. Not only did she assist that organization in expanding its operations, but she also formed meaningful friendships with fellow volunteers and staff. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, encouraged individuals to assemble your life yourself. action by action, emphasizing that creating meaningful structures in one's life is an ongoing process. Purpose is not a static concept, it evolves as we grow older and encounter new stages of life. Indeed, a person might transition from a career-centered sense of self in their youth to a more community-oriented focus in retirement. The key is to remain open to redefining what matters most and how your skills, experiences, and passions can best be utilized. When you lose your sense of purpose, the adverse effects can become evident rather quickly. A creeping feeling of discontent, a lack of motivation to engage with the world, and sometimes even a slide into depression. Conversely, an individual who invests in cultivating and nurturing purpose experiences a different trajectory, one marked by enthusiasm, a willingness to learn, and a readiness to seize new opportunities. Beyond personal satisfaction, a renewed sense of mission can also inspire others, from younger generations to peers who are seeking their own guiding light. Thus, avoiding this mistake is about preserving vitality, fueling your innate desire to be useful, and framing your later years as a period of profound growth rather than passive decline. As we bring Part 1 to a close, we have delved into 5 foundational mistakes that can undermine one's later years if left unaddressed. Neglecting physical health, ignoring mental health, dismissing financial planning, losing social connections, and abandoning a sense of purpose. These pitfalls, while common, are by no means inevitable. Each one can be proactively tackled using practical strategies that range from consistent exercise regimens and mindful eating to reflective journaling, support groups, budgeting, volunteering, or mentorship. The Stoic emphasis on discipline and clarity of mind aligns seamlessly with these proactive approaches, reinforcing the idea that you possess the capacity to shape your own aging experience. To summarize, the path to aging with grace involves placing due importance on both body and mind, anticipating and planning for financial realities, nurturing enduring social bonds, and sustaining an abiding sense of purpose. These elements form a robust foundation on which to build a fulfilling life, even as you move past initial career milestones and personal achievements. By integrating exercise routines, mental health practices, financial strategies, social engagements, and purposeful goals into your everyday life, you are effectively creating a roadmap for resilience and contentment in the years ahead. In the upcoming Part 2 of this article, we will extend our exploration to the next group of mistakes: overlooking intellectual stimulation, underestimating adaptability, neglecting legal and financial safeguards, ignoring preventive health care, failing to pursue passions and hobbies, and allowing regrets or resentments to hinder present joy. Each of these topics addresses different facets of a comprehensive approach to aging well, building on the Stoic principle that we may not control external circumstances, but can control our internal choices and attitudes. As you prepare to delve into Part 2, take a moment to reflect on the insights thus far. Which of these first 5 mistakes resonates most strongly with your personal journey? Have you identified areas of your life where small but meaningful changes might reap vast rewards? Consider this a pause in the conversation, an interval for contemplation. It is natural to feel both energized by new possibilities and slightly daunted by the work it might take to overcome ingrained habits. Keep in mind that every small shift in perspective, every new healthy habit, and every incremental step in planning or community engagement can compound into significant transformations over time. Look ahead with confidence and remain open to the benefits of Stoic thought as it intersects with modern wisdom. In Part 2, we will continue to broaden our perspective on aging well, presenting you with concrete measures to avoid further pitfalls and deepen your capacity for adaptation, curiosity, and self-discovery. Moving into the 6th deadly mistake, we encounter an oversight that can stealthily chip away at one's cognitive vitality, neglecting intellectual stimulation. Society often sends the message that formal learning belongs to the early chapters of life, school, university, career training, and that later years should be a time of rest from mental exertion. Yet this is far from accurate when it comes to maintaining a sharp and active mind. The brain thrives on challenge and novelty. Studies consistently show that engaging in activities that demand mental effort can slow cognitive decline, enhance memory, and contribute to overall mental agility. Intellectual stimulation can be approached in various ways that resonate with personal preferences. Reading widely, fiction, nonfiction, historical texts, modern research keeps the mind engaged with ideas, narratives, and facts. Books challenge you to form mental images, process concepts, and empathize with diverse perspectives. Another popular route is puzzles and strategy games such as chess. These require logic, strategic thinking, and pattern recognition, all of which can exercise crucial brain regions. For those who enjoy structured learning environments, community centers and local colleges often offer classes geared toward older adults, ranging from art history to digital literacy. The social element of learning in a classroom or workshop can further deepen engagement by fostering group discussions and shared problem-solving. Taking on a new skill, like learning a foreign language, mastering a musical instrument, or developing coding basics, exemplifies an especially potent form of cognitive challenge. The process of grappling with unfamiliar concepts tasks the brain with adapting and creating new neural connections, a phenomenon referred to as neuroplasticity. This can yield benefits that stretch into everyday life, making you more mentally flexible and better able to handle unforeseen challenges. Robert, a 70-year-old retiree, found his memory slipping and decided to tackle Spanish and chess simultaneously. Within a few months, he reported feeling sharper, and medical checkups indicated stable cognitive performance. Even more importantly, Robert formed new friendships in his language class and chess club, illustrating how intellectual engagement can serve double duty as a social catalyst. Though it may sound daunting to commit to ongoing learning in one's later years, the Stoic principle that it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows, attributed to Epictetus, offers timely wisdom. Approaching life with the humility of a perpetual student can yield both tangible benefits, like improved memory, and intangible ones, like a deeper sense of wonder. This principle counters the misconception that old dogs cannot learn new tricks. The truth is that continuous intellectual stimulation can help you remain adaptive and vibrant, prepared to savor the complexities of life for as long as possible. That said, neglect can quickly breed stagnation. Without new stimuli and experiences, the mind risks growing sluggish. Boredom sets in, and a pattern of mental complacency can exacerbate forgetfulness or even speed up the progression of conditions like dementia. It is also worth noting that intellectual stimulation often dovetails with other pillars of healthy aging, discussed earlier, like mental well-being and social engagement. By joining a book club or taking a college course, you are not only sharpening your mind, but also forging new relationships and keeping depressive thoughts at bay. In this light, avoiding the sixth deadly mistake means proactively ensuring your brain remains challenged, curious, and open to novel pursuits in the later chapters of life. Seventh among the deadly mistakes is a tendency to resist change, thus disregarding the importance of adaptability. As people age, they might find comfort in familiar routines and well-worn habits, sometimes reaching a point where venturing beyond these routines feels intimidating or unnecessary. Yet life's unceasing flux, shifts in technology, health, social norms, and personal circumstances, demands that each individual maintain a certain level of adaptability to avoid stagnation and stress. The Stoics were adamant that external conditions remain largely outside our direct control. So our best approach is to refine our internal responses. Adaptability manifests in multiple dimensions: being open to new living arrangements, embracing emerging technologies, modifying lifestyle habits in light of health changes, or shifting perspectives on personal relationships. At first glance, such transitions might seem jarring. For example, you might face a choice between staying in a large home that has become too costly and unwieldy or moving to a smaller, more manageable residence. Without flexibility, you might cling to the known, leading to financial and physical strain. Alternatively, adapting gracefully can open doors to better resources or new social circles in a fresh neighborhood. Developing adaptability is a skill that can be practiced much like any other. Begin with small changes in your daily routine, perhaps waking up 30 minutes earlier to include a morning walk, or switching a portion of your usual caffeine intake for herbal tea. This habituates the mind and body to the idea that small yet manageable changes can be beneficial. Over time, you can approach larger transitions like learning to use smartphones, e-books, or social media to stay connected with far-flung relatives with a calmer, more open-minded attitude. One might also experiment with alternative forms of exercise or even shift to telemedicine for certain healthcare needs if that's a viable option. Each step taken to embrace change rather than resist it builds resilience. A personal anecdote about embracing adaptability might involve someone like Harold, who spent his career in a factory environment and had minimal exposure to digital tools. After retiring, he realized family members primarily communicated through group chats and social media. Initially resistant, Harold decided to dip a toe into the digital world by taking a beginner's course at the local library. The result? He discovered a platform to share photos, chat with extended relatives he rarely saw, and even reconnected with an old friend from military service. In this instance, Harold's willingness to adapt allowed him to enhance his social ties and find meaningful uses for technology he once viewed with suspicion. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in his Meditations that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This forms the Stoic backbone of adaptability. While external changes may come unexpectedly, the choice to respond with rigidity or openness ultimately rests in your hands. Resisting change can lead to a buildup of stress, as life's shifts continue to happen regardless of your consent. Embracing them, on the other hand, can ease transitions and even reveal new avenues of joy, purpose, or connection. Maintaining flexibility thus becomes a pillar of healthy aging, ensuring that you are equipped to greet the future, whatever it may hold, with composure and readiness. Eighth on our list is the mistake of neglecting legal and financial safeguards. While financial planning per se, discussed in an earlier segment, concerns overall budgeting, saving, and investing, legal and financial safeguards delve into specific yet critical areas, such as drafting a will, designating power of attorney, and clarifying healthcare directives. These measures protect not only your assets but also your medical and personal choices should you become unable to express them. Putting these legal structures in place offers peace of mind, ensuring that in moments of vulnerability, like severe illness or cognitive decline, your wishes remain honored and your loved ones can make informed decisions without the additional burden of guesswork or potential legal battles. A basic yet essential step involves creating a clearly articulated will. This document specifies how your assets should be divided among heirs or beneficiaries, mitigating the risk of disputes among family members. Many people assume that a standard, pre-made form or a quick, online template is sufficient, but it's often wise to consult with an attorney who specializes in estate planning. This allows for personalized provisions, particularly if you own a business, have blended families, or wish to set up trust funds for dependents. Without a will, probate courts typically decide how to distribute your estate. a process that can cause lengthy delays and conflict during an already emotional time. Similarly, establishing a durable power of attorney, POA, for both financial and healthcare decisions is a vital protective measure. Should you become incapacitated, the designated POA can handle your affairs, paying bills, managing investments, and making medical decisions based on your stated preferences. Without a POA, loved ones must petition courts to obtain guardianship or conservatorship, a process that can be both slow and expensive. Being proactive eliminates this uncertainty and gives you the power to choose who will act on your behalf. Organizing essential documents in a secure yet accessible location is another component of prudent planning. This includes deeds, insurance policies, medical records, bank statements, and login credentials for key online accounts. Sharing the location of these documents with a trusted individual prevents frantic searches during crises. In some cases, individuals also opt to craft an advance healthcare directive or living will, specifying their preferences for treatments like resuscitation, mechanical ventilation, or tube feeding in the event of severe illness. Although these are challenging discussions to have, they demonstrate kindness toward both yourself and loved ones by reducing guesswork during what might be a turbulent emotional period. Consider a family like the Johnsons, who discovered too late that their father had never updated his will or designated a power of attorney after his stroke. Conflicting views among siblings over medical care and financial decisions led to stress, rifts, and even court involvement. This scenario underscores how neglecting these safeguards can compound grief and uncertainty. Conversely, setting up a comprehensive legal framework while you are healthy and lucid demonstrates foresight and fosters smoother transitions during times of potential crisis. Stoic philosophers often champion the practice of memento mori, remembering one's mortality, as a means of living more fully and responsibly in the present. Far from morbid, this reflection encourages you to address realities like estate planning without fear, recognizing that doing so is a sign of wisdom and compassion. By taking such measures, you extend an act of care not only to yourself, but also to the friends and family who would otherwise be burdened by legal ambiguities. Hence, neglecting legal and financial safeguards is a mistake that can be readily avoided through open dialogue and proactive steps, ensuring continuity and respect for your life's work and wishes. Ninth in the lineup of deadly mistakes is ignoring preventive health care. Though many individuals diligently seek medical attention when they are unwell, fewer place equal emphasis on routine checkups, screenings, and lifestyle modifications aimed at catching problems early or avoiding them altogether. Preventive healthcare spans everything from annual physicals to vaccinations, screening tests for conditions like cancer or diabetes, and proactive measures to monitor and manage chronic diseases in their early stages. Preventive care can be especially impactful because many illnesses, if detected early, are far more treatable. For instance, colonoscopies can detect precancerous polyps before they become malignant, and mammograms can spot small tumors long before they cause symptoms. Blood pressure checks and cholesterol screenings help identify risk factors for heart disease. When flagged early, interventions such as dietary adjustments, medications, or stress reduction techniques can prevent more severe developments. Vaccinations against pneumonia, influenza, and shingles can also significantly reduce the risk of dangerous or debilitating infections in older adults. By choosing a primary care physician you trust and scheduling routine appointments, you create a consistent medical record that tracks changes in your health over time. This record can be instrumental in identifying subtle shifts in weight, blood pressure, or lab results that might otherwise go unnoticed. You also benefit from forming a rapport with your healthcare provider, fostering more open dialogue about concerns, and clarifying any new or recurring symptoms you may experience. Additionally, it is beneficial to keep a family health history to guide personalized screening protocols, as many conditions have genetic components. Lifestyle factors like diet, exercise, and stress management also fall under the umbrella of preventive care. A balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains helps maintain a healthy weight and ensures the body receives essential nutrients. Regular physical activity aids in cardiovascular health, muscle tone, and overall endurance. Activities like yoga and meditation can complement these physical efforts by mitigating stress conditions. Lisa's story exemplifies the power of preventive care. After avoiding doctor visits due to a belief that she felt fine, a routine exam revealed high blood pressure and pre-diabetes. Intervening at this stage, through adjustments to her diet, increased exercise, and medication, allowed Lisa to avoid more severe outcomes like stroke or full-blown diabetes. Epictetus famously advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In the context of health, this means that while certain genetic or environmental factors may be out of your control, choosing to be vigilant and proactive remains within your power. Ignoring preventive health care is akin to waiting for an alarm that might sound too late. By prioritizing it, you become an active participant in your well-being, monitoring changes, and leveraging modern medical tools to preserve quality of life. Not only does this approach reduce potential medical costs over time, but it also ensures that you remain physically capable of engaging in the social, intellectual, and purposeful endeavors that make life meaningful. Transitioning into the 10th mistake, we arrive at a silent thief of joy: not pursuing passions and hobbies. All too often, individuals set aside the hobbies they loved during youth because of career pressures, child rearing, or other life responsibilities. By the time they reach retirement or an age where those responsibilities lessen, they may feel too tired, unsure of their abilities, or convinced that their chance to enjoy such interests has passed. This unfulfilled longing can leave a significant void in daily life, contributing to feelings of restlessness or regret. However, adulthood, and particularly later adulthood, provides a golden opportunity to rediscover or develop passions. Whether these passions revolve around creative arts, painting, photography, writing, physical endeavors, dancing, swimming, hiking, or mental pursuits, puzzling, reading, coding, immersing yourself in a fulfilling activity can sharpen the mind, elevate mood, and even forge new social connections. Hobbies act as a buffer against stress by offering a healthy outlet for self-expression and a tangible sense of progress and achievement. One of the more compelling aspects of hobbies is that they need not be pursued in isolation. By joining communities, online forums, or local clubs dedicated to a shared passion, you can find camaraderie and mutual encouragement. This can be especially helpful if you are tackling a new or challenging hobby, as shared learning experiences build bonds. The synergy of mutual support often leads to deeper engagement and personal growth. A methodical approach can look like this. Make a list of activities you've always been curious about, pick one or two, schedule dedicated time each week to practice, and seek out relevant local groups or workshops. Gradual progress, such as moving from photographing your garden to capturing landscapes at the local park, can spark the confidence to continue honing your craft. Consider Tom, a retired accountant who always admired photography but never owned a good camera. At age 65, he purchased one and decided to take a beginner's class. Within a few years, his curiosity evolved into genuine talent. He gained recognition in local galleries, sold prints online, and connected with fellow photography enthusiasts worldwide. For Tom, photography was not only a creative pastime but also a doorway to building friendships, and even supplementing his retirement income. Stoic wisdom emphasizes living in accordance with nature and using our innate gifts. In many respects, pursuing passions aligns with this principle. There may be no better time than later adulthood to fully embrace an activity free from the constraints of building a career or raising children. Seneca famously wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." While the quote addresses the human propensity to squander time, it is equally a rallying cry to use whatever time remains, regardless of age, meaningfully. By reawakening dormant interests or discovering new ones, you reclaim the opportunity to fill the canvas of life with vibrant color and creativity, rather than letting it fade into monotony and regret. The 11th deadly mistake involves the weighty toll that regrets and resentments can exact on mental well-being. Over a lifetime, most people accumulate disappointments, frustrations, and perceived wrongs, both large and small. Yet carrying these burdens forward into later life can overshadow the present moment, siphoning joy and breeding emotional distress. The act of letting go is not always easy. It may require deep introspection, confronting painful memories, or even extending forgiveness to individuals who may never apologize. However, the benefits of releasing these emotional anchors can be transformative, leading to lighter spirits, improved relationships, and a more positive outlook. Strategies for letting go vary, but often include some form of structured reflection. One might keep a private journal that catalogs resentments, clarifies their origins, and explores ways to either rectify or move beyond them. This process creates psychological space between the current self and the memory in question, enabling a more objective perspective. Therapy or counseling can also be invaluable for those grappling with long-held grudges. A professional third party can guide discussions, propose coping techniques, and encourage healthy communication if the resentment involves a person you are still interacting with. Another avenue is practicing mindfulness and gratitude daily, shifting focus from what went wrong in the past to what is going right in the present. Forgiveness, both of oneself and others, is a key pillar in breaking free from the trap of regret and resentment. As Maria's story illustrates, harboring resentment toward a family member can fester for years, creating emotional poison. Maria felt betrayed by her sister over a decade-old family dispute. Finally reaching out with a reconciliatory letter, she discovered her sister had her own regrets and was eager to mend the bond. While not every scenario ends this harmoniously, even the act of offering forgiveness, regardless of the other person's response, can release the individual harboring resentment from a cycle of anger and blame. Marcus Aurelius offered a succinct insight: the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This Stoic perspective speaks to the futility of clinging to anger as a form of retaliation. By resolving past hurts and focusing on one's own growth and equanimity, most importantly, letting go of regrets and resentments frees up emotional energy that can be channeled into more constructive pursuits. Be it creative endeavors, volunteering, or nurturing new relationships, those who cling to past injustices risk replaying them repeatedly in their minds, deepening wounds rather than allowing them to heal. Ultimately, releasing resentments not only brings emotional relief, but also widens the bandwidth available for actively engaging in the life you wish to live now. Concluding Part 2, we have surveyed 6 more pitfalls that, if left unaddressed, can greatly diminish the quality of life in one's later years. These mistakes: neglecting intellectual stimulation, underestimating adaptability, failing to implement legal and financial safeguards, ignoring preventive health care, not nurturing passions or hobbies, and clinging to regrets, each chip away at the robust and multifaceted life that people could otherwise enjoy. By confronting these challenges, it becomes possible to maintain a mind brimming with curiosity, a life framework protected by sound legal and financial measures, a body fortified by proactive health care, a schedule enriched with meaningful activities, and an emotional environment unclouded by lingering resentments. Taken together, parts 1 and 2 underscore how aging gracefully requires a holistic approach, one that spans physical, mental, financial, social, and emotional domains. In each case, Stoic principles such as self-awareness, resilience, and clarity of purpose can help guide you, whether it's adopting a fresh curiosity for learning, making peace with the past, or taking the time to ensure your healthcare and financial affairs are in proper order. These steps reflect a proactive stance that exemplifies Stoicism's hallmark, focusing on what we can control. Yet the journey does not end here. In the final segment, Part 3, we will explore the last 4 mistakes that commonly hinder individuals from fully embracing their later years. These include avoiding new technology, neglecting sleep quality, resisting change at a fundamental level, and finally, overlooking spiritual or personal growth. Each topic addresses another dimension of a complete and fulfilling life, one that continues to evolve rather than stagnate. As you reflect on the 6 mistakes covered here, consider where you might direct your next efforts. Are you missing out on intellectual growth opportunities? Have you failed to finalize important legal documents? Or perhaps you are struggling with letting go of past resentments. By identifying the areas that call for the most immediate attention, you prepare yourself to take meaningful action. As with physical health or financial planning, addressing emotional and intellectual well-being yields dividends that compound over time. Above all, avoid the temptation to assume it's too late. Every stage of life offers the possibility for renewal, as evidenced by countless examples of individuals who discover new talents or find peace through reflection and forgiveness well into their senior years. Make sure to carry forward the momentum you have gained from Part 2's insights, and stay with us as we turn to Part 3, where the final 4 mistakes and a unifying conclusion can guide you further along the path of wisdom, resilience, and genuine fulfillment. Entering Part 3, we encounter the 12th deadly mistake: avoiding new technology. In a world increasingly driven by digital innovation, from telehealth services to social media communities, steering clear of modern tools can lead to missed opportunities, increased isolation, and difficulty navigating everyday tasks that have migrated online. While the learning curve for unfamiliar technologies can be steep, particularly for those who did not grow up in the digital age, the benefits frequently outweigh the initial discomfort. The reasons behind technology avoidance are manifold. Some older adults worry about making mistakes or causing damage to devices they do not fully understand. Others feel intimidated by rapid changes, apps, updates, and new platforms, perceiving them as a whirlwind they cannot keep up with. Additionally, negative perceptions about social media or internet culture might deter some from venturing online. However, technology does not have to be a monolith of confusion. Incremental steps and targeted learning resources can demystify what initially seems overwhelming. Begin by choosing tools and platforms that directly address an important need or interest. For example, if you have grandchildren living far away, learn to use video calling apps. This direct connection, enriched by real-time visuals, can transform a sporadic phone conversation into a face-to-face family gathering, bridging generational gaps. Similarly, if you want to stay intellectually sharp, you can download e-reader apps or join online classes. By focusing on the most relevant uses first, you reduce frustration and discover a clear purpose for the technology. Libraries, community centers, and senior/hankering classes often offer beginner-friendly courses on computers, smartphones, and the internet. Younger relatives can also serve as patient tutors, providing hands-on assistance and moral support. Embracing technology can yield a surprising array of advantages, Banking apps simplify finance management by allowing deposits, transfers, and bill payments at the touch of a button. Wearable fitness devices can monitor daily steps, heart rate, and sleep quality, helping users maintain health goals. Online hobby groups connect enthusiasts across the globe, enabling the sharing of tips, experiences, and moral support. What's more, social media platforms allow older adults to showcase their artistry, writing, or even entrepreneurial ventures, demonstrating that creativity does not diminish with age. Frank, a 75-year-old newcomer to smartphones, discovered this firsthand. Initially anxious, he took a few library courses. Within months, he was video calling friends, checking library ebooks, and even participating in an online book club, activities he once thought outside his comfort zone. Epictetus reminds us, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Interpreted through a modern lens, this can mean appreciating the abundant digital resources now available, rather than lamenting the complexity of learning them. While technology is not a panacea for every problem associated with aging, it can simplify tasks, enrich social connections, and open doors to new forms of entertainment and learning. Conversely, actively avoiding it can isolate individuals from societal shifts, making routine tasks like filling out forms or accessing government services more difficult. By staying curious and willing to learn, you align with the Stoic principle of adapting to external realities, thus turning technology into a tool of empowerment rather than a barrier. 13th in our survey of deadly mistakes is a frequently underappreciated pillar of health: neglecting sleep quality. While few people would outright claim that sleep is unimportant, many fail to prioritize it, either succumbing to insomnia without seeking treatment or habitually burning the midnight oil. The repercussions of consistently poor or insufficient sleep extend beyond mere fatigue. Chronic sleep deprivation impairs cognitive function, weakens the immune system, and can exacerbate mood disorders like depression or anxiety. Attaining better sleep often involves cultivating good sleep hygiene, a term describing habits and environmental factors conducive to restful slumber. Maintaining a consistent bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends, aligns the body's internal clock, making it easier to drift off and wake feeling refreshed. The sleeping environment itself should be dark, quiet, and comfortably cool, with minimal exposure to disruptive lights or noises. Reducing or eliminating caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol, especially in the evening, supports more stable sleep patterns. Engaging in physical activity during the day can also help the body grow tired naturally, making it easier to relax come bedtime. Meanwhile, a winding down routine, such as reading a calming book or practicing gentle stretching, signals to the brain that it's time to transition from wakefulness to rest. Troubles with sleep sometimes have deeper roots, such as chronic pain, sleep apnea, or anxiety. In these cases, seeking medical advice is crucial. Sleep studies can diagnose and guide treatment for conditions like sleep apnea, while therapy or relaxation techniques may help mitigate nighttime stress and restlessness. Additionally, older adults may benefit from reviewing medications with a healthcare provider, as some prescriptions can interfere with sleep. John, who prided himself on thriving with minimal sleep, noticed increasing forgetfulness and irritability as he neared retirement. Once he implemented a consistent routine, limiting late-night caffeine, shutting down electronics early, and creating a comfortable bedroom environment, his memory improved and his relationships became less strained by mood swings. Beyond practical strategies, some find Stoic reflections beneficial. Seneca advised that each evening we should examine our actions from the day, both the good and the ill, as a means of self-improvement. This practice not only fosters self-awareness, but can also form part of a nightly ritual, bridging daytime activities with a reflective transition to sleep. When neglected, sleep quality can severely limit one's enjoyment of life. It spawns lethargy, mental fog, and emotional volatility. Over time, these issues can accumulate, potentially leading to more serious health problems and undermining the very foundations of well-being. Conversely, ensuring adequate rest can amplify the benefits of the other healthy habits discussed throughout this piece. By paying attention to something as seemingly simple as sleep, you take a crucial step toward holistic aging. The 14th deadly mistake revolves around resisting change. This may sound similar to earlier discussions about adaptability, but resisting change operates at a deeper, more systemic level. It arises when people not only struggle with specific adjustments, like learning a new device or moving to a new city, but also cultivate an overarching mindset of fear or aversion to evolving circumstances. Individuals in this state might insist that things were better in the old days and regard new developments, whether technological, social, or personal, as threats rather than opportunities. This entrenched resistance can stifle creativity, hinder personal growth, and perpetuate a sense of loss or longing for the past. Indeed, change can be unsettling because it disturbs the equilibrium one has grown accustomed to. But Stoic thinkers, along with other philosophical traditions, often remind us that the only constant in life is change itself. Heraclitus, who greatly influenced Stoicism, famously stated, "No man steps into the same river twice. Reality is in perpetual motion. To cling desperately to one fixed point is to wrestle with an inescapable truth." Overcoming this mistake starts with awareness. Journaling can help reveal patterns of resistance, such as a visceral negative reaction to any new rule at a community gathering, or a refusal to consider alternate living arrangements, even when practical circumstances call for it. From there, one can actively reframe how change is perceived, maybe as a challenge to be met, an opportunity for learning, or a potential catalyst for improvement. Incremental exposure to new experiences, from sampling an unfamiliar cuisine to taking a weekend trip to an unvisited location, can slowly build up tolerance and even excitement for what lies outside familiar territory. Sarah's story offers a concrete example. Initially irked when her local community center moved class registrations online, she realized she was shutting herself off from new possibilities. After getting help setting up her account, she grew comfortable with the system, which then led her to discover new classes offered at different times. She decided to enroll in a social media workshop, discovered an interest in digital marketing, and now runs a small online storefront for homemade crafts. Without that initial push, overcoming her resistance, Sarah would never have uncovered this hidden avenue of creativity. The Stoic mindset assists in weathering the storms of life by urging us to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. We cannot always dictate the pace or direction of societal, technological, or personal developments. What we can control is our response, our internal orientation. Resisting change rigidly can lead to stagnation, frustration, and even bitterness. Embracing it as a fundamental aspect of existence opens the door to continuous self-renewal. Practically, this might manifest in being more flexible with scheduling, exploring side passions, or simply cultivating the humility to say, "I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm willing to learn." Each willingness to adapt can form the building blocks of a fuller, more liberated life, especially in one's later years. The 15th and final deadly mistake is that of neglecting spiritual or personal growth, a dimension of life often overshadowed by practical and material concerns. While career goals, family responsibilities, and day-to-day necessities can occupy decades of attention, one's later years present a unique opportunity to delve inward, explore existential questions, and foster a richer inner life. Whether you align with a formal religion, a personal spiritual practice, or a secular philosophy, The principle remains the same. Nurturing the soul or psyche imbues life with a sense of depth and meaning that transcends external achievements. Engaging in spiritual or personal development can take many forms. Traditional religious practices such as prayer, attending services, or participating in a faith community provide fellowship and structure for contemplative living. Meditation, mindfulness, and journaling are more secular approaches that offer profound introspection, helping individuals examine thoughts, emotions, and personal aspirations on a deeper level. Some people find solace and inspiration in nature, hiking, gardening, or simply sitting by the ocean, sparking reflections on interconnectivity and life's impermanence. Courses or retreats focused on self-improvement, whether they lean toward positive psychology or ancient philosophical teachings, are yet another avenue. Maria's story might illustrate how late spirituality can blossom unexpectedly. After volunteering at a hospice and witnessing the dignity with which some patients approached their final days, Maria was prompted to question her own assumptions about life's purpose. Attending a non-denominational meditation group, she found a nurturing environment where people openly discussed mortality, gratitude, and compassion. Over time, she realized that this inward journey significantly reduced her anxiety about aging and dying. Rather than feeling overshadowed by the inevitable, she felt increasingly grateful for each day and inspired to pass on her newfound insights to others. Epictetus advised, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Cultivating spiritual or personal growth deepens that sense of gratitude and acceptance. In turn, this can ripple outward, enriching interpersonal relationships, boosting mental resilience, and lending a sense of calm amid life's unpredictabilities. Conversely, neglecting this domain can lead to feelings of emptiness, a sense that one has run out of time or aimless drifting. By incorporating reflection, meditation, or other contemplative practices, you ensure that your later years continue to be a time of learning, evolving values, and a greater capacity for empathy and kindness. By exploring all 15 deadly mistakes, ranging from neglecting physical and mental health to overlooking spiritual growth, we see that aging gracefully is a multi-dimensional endeavor. It asks for balanced attention to the body, mind, finances, social networks, adaptability, legal protections, and existential meaning. The Stoic lens reminds us that while external forces, health conditions, economic trends, personal losses, may remain outside our control, the decisions we make in response to them remain ours to shape. In essence, the Stoic path supports proactive, informed choices rather than passive resignation. To recap, these 15 mistakes can be summarized succinctly: neglecting physical health, sacrificing exercise and good nutrition, leading to preventable decline; ignoring mental health, overlooking stress, anxiety, or depression, thus undermining overall well-being; neglecting financial planning, failing to save or invest appropriately, risking future security; losing social connections, allowing isolation to set in, diminishing both mental and physical health; abandoning purpose, surrendering meaningful goals, leading to a sense of emptiness; neglecting intellectual stimulation, letting the mind stagnate, risking cognitive decline; underestimating adaptability, resisting new experiences, technologies, or shifts in life circumstances; neglecting legal and financial safeguards, failing to draft wills or designate powers of attorney, creating future chaos; ignoring preventive healthcare, missing screenings, vaccinations, and routine checkups that can detect or prevent disease; not pursuing passions and hobbies, postponing or discarding interests that bring joy and mental vitality; holding on to regrets and resentments, keeping emotional baggage that suffocates present happiness. Avoiding new technology, shutting out tools that can enrich life and maintain connection in a digital world. Neglecting sleep quality, overlooking the restorative power of consistent, high-quality rest. Resisting change, confining oneself in a static worldview, creating stress and missed opportunities. Neglecting spiritual or personal growth, failing to cultivate introspection, a sense of wonder, or deeper meaning in life. Throughout these considerations, consistent threads emerge: the importance of awareness, the acceptance of impermanence, and the willingness to evolve. By making small yet purposeful changes in each of these areas, individuals can significantly enhance their life experience, even if they start later than they might have liked. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus would likely applaud such an approach, for it aligns with the Stoic commitment to live in harmony with nature, cultivate inner virtue, and confront reality with courage and adaptability. In the spirit of Stoicism, it is worth highlighting a few key quotations that tie these lessons together. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This could be rephrased in the context of aging. Waste no more time worrying about what a fulfilled older adult should look like. Become one by your choices and actions. Seneca cautioned us that life is not necessarily short, but we often fail to use the time we have wisely. Advice that dovetails with the urgent call to address procrastination in matters of health, finance, and emotional well-being. Moreover, Epictetus extolled the virtue of focusing on what is in our power, our judgments, intentions, and reactions. When we spin in anxiety about external factors, from the inevitability of physical aging to the unpredictability of economic shifts, we drain energy better spent adjusting our own mindset and habits. The Stoic emphasis on self-mastery applies equally to the realm of personal growth. Rather than lament changes we cannot stop, we redirect our energies toward growth and gratitude in the midst of changing realities. As a practical call to action, consider taking an inventory of which of these 15 mistakes might currently feature in your life. Are you deferring crucial medical checks? Have you drafted or updated your will? Are you forgoing passions you once loved or harboring unresolved resentment? Make a short list of actionable steps, even if they seem modest at first, like scheduling a doctor's appointment, emailing an old friend, or researching local volunteer opportunities. The synergy of small, consistent actions can spark impressive transformations over time. For those drawn to community, platforms like local clubs, faith-based organizations, and online forums can offer mutual accountability and inspiration. In-person or digital support groups can help with tasks like learning technology, establishing healthier routines, or sharing resources for estate planning. By engaging actively with others who have similar goals, you can create a ripple effect that not only improves your life, but also uplifts the collective well-being of those around you. In conclusion, the journey of aging, far from being a slow drift into irrelevance, can become a dynamic phase of self-discovery, service, and joy if approached with clarity and resolve. Recognizing and avoiding these 15 deadly mistakes forms the bedrock of that positive transformation. You do not need to be a Stoic scholar to benefit from the Stoic perspective. You simply need to adopt the core tenets of mindfulness, reflection, and a purposeful orientation toward what lies within your influence. Even if you find yourself resonating with multiple pitfalls, remember that awareness is the pivotal first step. Once you see the gap between your current practices and your desired future, you have already begun to bridge it. Whether you are in your 50s, 70s, or beyond, there is untapped potential to rekindle passions, strengthen bonds, refine beliefs, and gather the fruits of a lifetime's wisdom for the betterment of yourself and the people you care about. As you navigate this path, keep in mind that each day presents new chances to choose vibrancy over resignation, engagement over isolation, and acceptance over regret. The unfolding chapters of your life story remain open to revision, filled with possibilities for intellectual growth, emotional renewal, and spiritual depth. Above all, let this exploration serve as a reminder that aging is a journey best taken with foresight and intention. Physical vitality, mental sharpness, secure finances, strong social bonds, and a vibrant inner life are not luxuries reserved for the fortunate few. They are outcomes shaped by consistent decisions aligned with a clear vision of what a fulfilling later life looks like. As you move forward, hold fast to this principle. You carry within you both the seeds of renewal and the resilience to adapt to whatever life may present. May these insights guide you toward an older age defined by wisdom, joy, and a legacy of positive impact that extends well beyond your years. As we've explored these life-enhancing insights together, from physical wellness and financial freedom to the incredible power of curiosity and laughter, one truth stands clear: the best chapters of your story can still be written. I've personally seen how embracing just a few of these strategies can reignite passion, deepen relationships, and create genuine, lasting happiness. Now, I'm eager to hear your stories. What strategies resonated most with you, and how have you applied them in your daily life? Share your experiences, tips, or challenges in the comments below, and let's inspire each other to keep growing and thriving. Remember, every new day offers a fresh chance to reinvent yourself, so let's make the most of it together.